Yo, what is up guys, it's Hyecross, and welcome to my official review on the Razer Viper V3 Pro. I've been so excited to record and make this video solely because of how good this mouse truly is. In this video, I'll be breaking down what's in the box, all the mouse specifications, and ending off at the end of this video of whether I would recommend this mouse specifically for Fortnite and Fortnite competitive. So let's get right into this video, and the first thing we're going to do is just explain what comes in the box. So as you guys can see, it's a pretty simple, basic box. You can ignore my handprints. I've been all over this mouse box, but yeah, it is a very simple box, and honestly, one of the things that I truly liked about the packaging was it's super minimalistic and basic. I don't really like when a lot of mouse companies send out mice just with overcrowded box stuff. Like, obviously, the only thing you really want is your mouse and then the dongle and cable, and then maybe some grips, and that's exactly what this company did. Razer's typically pretty good with this stuff, so they sent over some grips. Personally, I don't like putting grips on my mouse, but obviously it's personal preference. If you guys like grips, there you go. I would have liked these grips to be white to match the white colorway that I went with on my mouse. But obviously they went with the black, which is completely fine. There's some Razer stickers in here. I'll be putting these on my streaming PC. I like to deck out my streaming PC with some stickers. And then obviously it came with the cable. It's a USB-C cable, and then the 8K Hertz polling rate compatible wireless dongle. Super cool. One thing about the dongle that I absolutely love is the weight and just the shape of it. I don't like dongles such as like the Final Mouse dongle that are super light and they don't stay on your desk well. They just kind of, you know, prop up at a weird angle. This one sits on my desk absolutely perfectly. There's a weight to it, so it's going to stay in the position that you put it. I can have it right in front of my mouse pad. It's at a perfect position. This is definitely by far my favorite dongle that I've ever used. It's super user-friendly, so I appreciate Razer for doing that. And yeah, it's very nice. Very nice. And then the other thing is the Razer V3 Pro. Obviously, the user manual. There's nothing much you got to read in there because I will be going through everything in this video regarding the mouse. So we'll put away this box and get out the pride and joy, the Razer Viper V3 Pro. So straight away, we have to talk about the changes from the V2 Pro, okay? So from the V2 Pro, there's an insane amount of changes, and it made this mouse just absolutely miles better. And if you guys have been watching me for a while, you guys know that the Razer Viper V2 Pro did not leave a great impression on me. I thought that the mouse was just kind of overrated. Everyone was loving it. Personally, I didn't like the shape. Then again, I am a palm grip player, so I do prefer bigger mice. It had a smaller hump, and overall, I just didn't really like using it. I was not a fan, and in the end, I always went back to the G Pro Superlight. I've been using the G Pro Superlight for like 2-3 years now, and this is the Superlight 1. I've not gotten a chance to try the Superlight 2. Sorry, it's a little bit like kind of nasty. I have not cleaned this mouse, and I've used it for like 2 years, so keep that in mind. But yeah, back to the Razer Viper V3 Pro. Some notable changes that they did make is with the design. So the shape is completely different. They decided to add a taller hump, so it is going to be much better for palm grip players. It is not a fully fingertip or claw grip mouse. The V2 Pro is definitely a claw grip mouse. This is more a natural shape that better fits palm grip users, which is something that I've always wanted, especially for Razer mice. I know there's the Death Adder V3 Pro out there with that ergo shape, but personally, I still preferred the Logitech GPX over that. Just because of the shape, I think the hump is a little too high on the Razer Death Adder V3 Pro. However, back to the Razer Viper V3 Pro, with the build quality of this mouse, there's zero flexing, zero rattling whatsoever. It feels absolutely incredible, especially compared to the last mouse that I reviewed and tried out, which was the Final Mouse ULX. There was crazy flexing towards the back portion of the mouse, and it just didn't become my main for that sole purpose. It was really annoying. I couldn't stand the mouse flexing. Every build fight that I would get in, it would flex, and it was crazy annoying. With this mouse, zero flexing, zero rattling. It just feels like a truly incredibly made product. And I do also absolutely love they changed the coating on the mouse. So if you guys know, the Razer Viper V2 Pro had kind of a weird texture over it. It was a very textured shell. And I wasn't really a fan of that. I just found that it was a little bit hard to grip it for some reason with that extra texture. With this smoother coating, it makes it way easier to grip the mouse, and it also is way more comfortable and just feels natural to hold. Now it has more of that smooth coating, and it's very, very similar to the Logitech G Pro Superlights coating, which I do think is a very good change by Razer. And with the shape of the V3 Pro, it is actually the same exact shape of the Razer V3 Hyperspeed, which came out, I believe, like a year ago. And it's essentially the same exact shape. It's the same exact mouse shape. The only difference is obviously the specs. The sensor's a little bit different. The clicks are different. But honestly, if you want like a budget version of this mouse, you can get a budget version of this mouse for like $100 cheaper with the V3 Hyperspeed. So I will also have the Hyperspeed linked down in the description below if you guys want to check that out. It's the same exact shape, and this shape is absolutely incredible. It feels so natural. You guys could actually see the mouse actually it has like a wider backing, and then it kind of curves inward. So it feels very, very natural when I'm holding it and playing. And I appreciate that a lot. The shape is just really incredible, especially with the higher hump achieved on this mouse. Now onto the weight and design of the mouse. So the mouse weight comes in at 54 grams, which is absolutely incredible. I believe the Logitech G Pro Superlight comes in at around 62 or 63 grams. So for this mouse to be 54 grams, I think it is definitely an upgrade. If you guys are considering upgrading from your GPX, that is what I did. And this new change makes the mouse notably easier to handle and aim with. And another change they actually added was the mouse feet. So if you guys remember on the V2 Pro, the mouse feet kind of had two weird strips. I'll put a picture on screen, but it didn't cover as much space as this one does. This again is kind of mimicking the Logitech GPX with the same kind of feet shape, but I think it is for the better. I think it glides a little bit better in my opinion. I am a big fan of the feet change. Now onto the buttons and handling. The side buttons on this mouse feel absolutely incredible. I believe they are using the Gen 3 optical switches for the clicks in this mouse, and I'll actually do a sound test right now so you guys can hear that. So in my opinion, the clicks feel absolutely incredible. I think they are a great change from the Razer V2 Pro. I think the Razer V2 Pro was the clicks felt way too deep and thocky. These ones are very, very light. That was the first thing I noticed when hopping in game was they feel incredibly light. They feel fast. They feel crisp. There's honestly nothing wrong with them whatsoever. And the side buttons also have minimal pre-travel, and they're definitely top notch. I'm not sure if there's a change. I don't have the V2 on me anymore as I gave it away in a giveaway. But the space in the middle, there's like a gap. I don't know if that's larger, but it feels larger than the V2 Pro's gap. And that makes it so much better for me personally because I utilize those side buttons all the time in game, and they are absolutely incredible. So I have not been fat fingering as much as I did with the V2 Pro. And so I don't know if they, spaced it out more or anything, but they have been working absolutely incredible. And now getting to the sensor and software of the mouse, you guys can see up at the top corner here, Razer actually says that this mouse uses the Focus Pro optical sensor Gen 2, which, if you guys know Razer and have been following Razer for a long time, they gatekeep their sensors. So Razer is always typically like a year or 2 years ahead of every other mouse company when it comes to sensors. And that's because they just gatekeep it until they're forced to put it out to the public. And then the second they put it out to the public, a bunch of small mouse companies decide to utilize those sensors in their mouse. So for Razer, if you want to put it in global market terms, the Focus 2 sensor is most likely like a PAW 3970 sensor. I know that the 3950 is an extremely popular sensor, but I really think that they are incorporating like what is like a 3970 type sensor in this mouse. But it feels incredible. You're not going to mess up anything. There's zero skipping, there's zero hitching whatsoever. Now for the software of this mouse, I'm going to actually change my screen over so you guys can better see how to implement the software and how to change everything. So we're going to click on the Razer Viper V3 Pro right here because we have it all connected right there. And from here, this is where you guys can customize everything and see your battery status, stuff like that. So we're going to go to performance. So right here is where you could change your DPI. You could change your DPI based on 5 stages. Or you could also drag it all the way over here. There's a lot of options with DPI. Personally, I run 800 DPI, just the standard. And then over here is the polling rate. And this is kind of an important topic that I want to explain to you guys. So it does have 8,000 hertz compatibility. However, it's important to know that if you're thinking of buying this mouse solely for the purpose that I can get 8,000 hertz polling, 90% of you are not going to be able to run 8,000 hertz polling without losing frames in Fortnite. It's just way ahead of its time. I think Fortnite as a game has to catch up, or, you know, certain specs for your PC have to catch up, but I think 8,000 hertz is definitely ahead of its time. Another note, when you have it set to 8,000 hertz polling, you're going to get about 17 hours of battery life, which is pretty bad. Like, not even a full day of battery life is a little crazy. At 1,000 hertz, you're going to get around 90 hours of battery life, which is absolutely incredible. So obviously, the higher you go up in polling rate, the less battery life you're going to have. So it's just important to know that when buying mice. So yeah, for this polling rate, I've been using 2,000 hertz. I lose 0 frames on 2,000 hertz polling. At 4,000, I definitely start to lose a little bit of frames. So I might hop in 4,000 when I'm playing like creative or something like that. But I personally don't notice that much of a difference. Going from 1,000 hertz to 2,000 hertz, to be honest, I don't know if it's placebo. It most likely is placebo unless you're using like a 360 hertz monitor. But 2,000 hertz, in my opinion, feels a little bit more smooth than 1,000. That is just my experience using this mouse. I can run late game in FNCS, late game in ranked, everything like that. Stacked lobbies, my FPS holds up completely fine at 2,000. I don't think it's going to affect your FPS that much if you have a decent specs in your PC. There's also a sensitivity matcher, so you can create a new sensitivity matcher calibration from a different mouse, which is pretty cool. They just have like cool things that you could play around with in the settings. If you go to this power option, there's wireless power saving, so you could change like the sleep mode and stuff like that. There's low power modes. In calibration right here, there's actually smart tracking, so you could set a single cutoff point to your preferred distance regardless of the surface it's placed on, so you could set your tracking distance from low, medium, or high. I just keep mine at medium, but you guys can play around with those settings. I tend to not really play around with them that much, but overall, I think it's a pretty cool thing. So yeah, Razer Synapse, pretty cool. I like all the customization options you have with this mouse. You can change everything performance-wise. Very, very nice. I definitely like the addition of all these new settings. And before I get into my final thoughts, the one thing I forgot to mention with this mouse, obviously it is USB-C, just so you guys know, I do want to mention that for you guys. And also the scroll wheel. An incredibly important part of a mouse is the scroll wheel, especially in games like Fortnite, if you guys use scroll wheel reset. So the scroll wheel, as you guys can see, it pokes out of the mouse at a perfect angle. It's not deep inside the mouse like the OP1 8K. If you guys didn't know why I stopped using the OP1 8K, it was because the scroll wheel is so deep in the mouse, it's hard for me to scroll reset. And I would go to scroll reset and my finger would glide right over the scroll wheel, not hitting it, because I'm so used to using scroll wheels that pop out of the mouse more. So a tall scroll wheel that isn't stiff is definitely my expectation for a perfect gaming mouse, and this exceeds it in every way. It's not a stiff scroll wheel, it's poking out of the mouse, it's tall, it's perfect. I love it so much. And so from there, that will lead into my final thoughts. This mouse, in my opinion, is the perfect gaming mouse. There are absolutely zero cons I have found with this mouse. I tried everything, and I think what really sold it was the first games I played on this mouse was a solo Cash Cup Opens, and I qualified for the finals of that tournament in 3 games. That was the first time I've ever played on this mouse, and I get my best tournament placement ever. Like at one point, I was top 42 in the tournament. I'll throw like a screenshot on the screen, but this mouse exceeded all my expectations. If you guys are looking for an upgrade from the Logitech G Pro Superlight, or you have another mouse that you've been looking to upgrade, guys, I think this mouse is the best mouse on the market right now. I think it has one of the best sensors out. The build quality is incredible. The scroll wheel is incredible. The clicks feel seamless. The glide is perfect. This mouse honestly couldn't get any better. The only thing, if I had to absolutely nitpick, would be that this mouse would be like a few grams lighter. Like maybe if they can get it in the high 40 grams, that would be incredible. But that is if I have to absolutely nitpick in every way possible. But yeah, guys, other than that, I think this mouse is an absolutely phenomenal pickup. I will have it linked down in the description below if you guys want to check it out. If you guys like this review, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I love doing peripheral reviews, so make sure to leave your thoughts down below on what you guys think about this mouse. I'm definitely curious to see what you guys think about it, but I've been absolutely loving it so far. And again, if you guys are looking for an upgrade, I strongly recommend this mouse. That is all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Love you guys. Peace out.